The last word from Charles Foster Kane's lips was Rosebud, a clue that set the mystery of the movie Citizen Kane in motion. For artist Tyanna J. Buie, her large-scale prints on view in Playing Favorites at Dean Jensen Gallery work as a series of rosebuds, autobiographical signifiers that connect to the memories of childhood. Hi, I'm Kat Murrell. Let's go look at this. We're here with artist Tyanna Buie at Dean Jensen Gallery for her exhibition, Playing Favorites. Tell us about how the show came to be and how you came to work with Dean Jensen.
Well, it's very interesting. A friend of mine started being represented by Dean, so I stopped in during her opening, and then I stopped back in and said, "Hi, Dean, you remember me?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Well," he's like, "Are you an artist too?" And then we had this great conversation. He started to represent me, and then I suggested that I have a solo show.
And here we are with a solo show. It's fantastic. Much of the ideas and the themes from the show developed out of the portraits that we see here. Tell us about these.
These are actually portraits from classmates of mine when I was in, I want to say, third grade. The actual tangible portrait did not have any names of the students at all. I thought about that particular time and when I was in that class and how I was stereotyped because the teacher knew that I was in a foster care system and I was ignored a lot. So I just thought about these invisible children. So I wanted to do a series of portraits that kind of captured those emotions.
The idea of portraits and photographs that come from your family history are a really important part of your work.
I have these photographs and there's not many photographs from my childhood. So whenever there's one photograph, it's very precious for all of us. This photograph and then the other piece that I did that's about the same idea deals with us being dressed up and ready to go somewhere and looking our best. At this particular time in our lives, we were in a very interesting household that was very depressing and sad for us, but we looked good. So I really wanted to capture the gesture of the dresses and maybe our movement. So the faces are absent for that reason.
The details are fantastic, especially the addition of the material, and you have such an exquisite sense of pattern and color, and that also comes through in these other pieces as well that are single objects. So along with the portraits, you have 5 large-scale prints that have singular objects from your childhood. And tell us about those, about how you came to decide on those as items, as subjects.
There weren't many toys that I was interested in and that I liked, and there weren't many objects, but the few that I was interested in, I wanted to visually talk about those. And there was this playground that we were obsessed with, and everyone was, so the swings were constantly broken, and it was a mess, and we technically shouldn't have been playing in this park because it was probably dangerous. I kind of have this nostalgic feeling of that particular time and living with that particular aunt, and just the sadness from that. So I kind of wanted to capture that with the broken swing set. I didn't want to show a perfect swing set, so I just went around and started cataloging and photographing broken toys and objects and swing sets that would just reminded me of those moments.
The way that you combine this sense of like nostalgia tinged with, with sadness, with unhappiness.
I've been doing site-specific work for about, I want to say like a couple of years now. I knew I wanted to cover the 5 open areas in the gallery. The background, for me, it really kind of puts you in the place of this particular moment. So that's why I kind of wanted it to be endless. So there's the piece, but then technically it still continues.
It moves together so beautifully. Tyanna, thank you so much for telling us about your work.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks for visiting the Dean Jensen Gallery with Tyanna Buie and I. See you next time when we'll look at something else.